Episode 168. Homoi is now a level 50 machinist, just from twirling her gun over and over again in front of this fireplace. I just went through the duty finder a few times, actually the only thing available to me, leveling, since everything else requires level 50, over the past few days to get the levels I needed. Now I can finish all of the machinist quests all in one go. Thankfully, my recording schedule allowed for me to actually wait a few days just for the daily bonus for the duty roulette here, without having to upload any videos in between. After this, we can get back to the main story. It's actually kind of a strange thing. This only applies to Ishgard again, with the way these three jobs, Dark Knight, Astrologian, and Machinist, are locked behind story progression, but later classes you're able to pick up their quests as early as A Realm Reborn, as long as you have the expansions that they're from installed. But you can still do them in A Realm Reborn, so they're not really tied to any kind of like main story progression, other than just the level 15 stuff or something like that. Actually, might not even need to be level 15 to unlock them. Or rather, the level 15 story stuff. It might just be a hard reach a certain level, like 50 or 60 requirement, which you could certainly do in A Realm Reborn, with how quickly they hand out EXP. But for Heavensward here, you have to actually progress through the main story enough and then level them up from level 30 to 50 to experience the rest of the story in Heavensward, if you wanted to experience the Heavensward story with one of the new classes. And the difference for every other class in every later expansion is just that you can come into those expansions having already leveled those classes, so the exact experience that I did here, where I stalled the story in order to experience the expansion with the new class, was, well, at this point it's only relegated to Heavensward. But you still experience that same thing with every new expansion if you're playing it live. So like with Dawn Trail, you'd have to quickly level up Pictomancer or Viper on the day of release in order to play through the rest of the story as those new classes. It's something that a lot of people do, and I guess this is the only time that I'm sort of taking part in it, except I'm not really spending sleepless nights trying to level up. It's just more so the way that I had to stall the story for this. And we will also stall the background noise anytime we're in this room. Greetings, Komoi. Have you become practiced at defeating your foes from a distance? Well, she's become practiced at twirling her gun, so that's good enough, right? With the range of our weapons, even skyborn dragons will learn to respect the threat posed by a trained machinist. Despite the proven efficacy of our cannons and ballistas, however, many knights of Ishgard continue to eschew firearms in favor of the spear and the sword. The creaking chains of tradition. Hark, the very creaking I spoke of draws near. This stifling heat and sulphurous stench. I can scarcely breathe. And worse, I can scarcely bear the sight of mine own son, garbed in such filthy garments. Why must you persist in this infatuation with smithing, of all things? Another leader of one of the high houses, I guess a parallel to the big man Edmonte Fortams himself. Sometimes they just show up in side quests like this. It is called machinistry, father, and you need not come at all if the air in the workshop so offends you. Would that I could shed this onerous duty. but as manufactory chief, I must needs supervise its operations. There's a hell of a name. Count Berenduin de Haillenarte. I probably pronounced it like three or four different times, or pronounced it incorrectly 3 or 4 different times in that name. Supervise? You barely visit but once a moon, and relegate every management task to Fromalot. And what of it? Smithing is a commoner's profession. Even as overseer is the role of a noble. This English is... didn't quite catch what they're saying here. Smithing is a commoner's profession, even as overseer is the role of a noble. Guess I'm not sure how this even is used here grammatically. Even as... whatever. As one of the 4 founders of Ishgard, House Heillenarte enjoys a privileged position. But misfortune has waged a constant war of attrition on our forces, and our claim to that position grows weak. Thus must we attend to our duties with uncommon zeal, even duties as common as this one. But we shall not suffer this mean predicament forever. No, my son, you will reclaim the honor of our family with spear in hand. You must needs become a knight of skill nonpareil, and bear our flag onto the field of battle. Father, the face of war changes with each passing day. Soon will come a time when machinists shall form the bulk of our armies. Should you cling to these stagnant ideas of yours, you will be swept over by the wave that carries us forward. I tire of your flights of fancy, Stephanivian. Without successes to back them, your arguments ring as empty as my treasure room. The Holy See has announced a tourney. You will best serve your house by returning to the practice field, and thence claiming victory in the melee. I regret that you were subject to our squabbles, but Father's attitude is sadly representative of the greater part of Ishgard's populace. Their heads may as well be made from the stone of the city walls. I have, however, designed a weapon of such brilliance that the light of its potential will penetrate even the densest mind. Rust and Saul and Joy will accompany me to Raincatcher Gully to gather materials for the prototype. Why don't you join us? Practicing your marksmanship in Ishgard will only invite suspicion and ridicule, and this is the perfect opportunity to receive further tutelage from Rosenthal. That you might also train under the warm rays of the Nocia sun is simply a fortuitous boon. And here we go again, just kind of going off into a Realm Reborn area because those are the only level 1 through 50 areas available in the game, even though the story is taking place in Ishgard, sort of. Again, just one of the nuances of how these 3 classes from Ishgard work. And once again, pretending Komori uses one of her magic Aetheryte tickets or something. Or whatever. It doesn't matter. How am I supposed to roleplay a machinist, a very sci-fi role, when I have to use magic? I tried adjusting some of the contrast settings for once. After hundreds of episodes or something, keeping it on one setting. I guess it was shed to light to me that the contrast settings that I've had this whole time may not be exactly what I want them to be, even though they probably looked fine on Final Fantasy. Some other games I was playing, Monster Hunter Wilds, kind of looked like whatever I was using for that wasn't exactly true to the damn music. Wasn't exactly true to what it should be like on screen. I try to get things matching what I see on my own TV as close as possible, And it's hard to do that because my monitor has a different, like, color, whatever, than my TV. It doesn't matter. Got yourself dragged out here as well, did you? The boss said he needed some Magitech part, and I just had to open big gob about this Garlean wreck in the gully. It's been rusting here for nigh on 5 years now, though, so any useful bits and bobs was likely stripped out long ago. But seeing as we've trekked all this bloody way, we might as well see how far you've come in your shooting. Go say hello to the other two, and keep them safe while they concentrate on their scrounging. There are all sorts of nasties wandering about the place. Shoot whatever comes close to the boss and joy, and I'll call that your next evaluation. I'll turn on the music as soon as that fate disappears in 1 minute. Here you are. Ah, you came. Splendid. Though I'm afraid the rewards have yet to meet the risks of this monster-infested crash site. And speaking of monsters, they're bugs. Nicely done, Komoi. Now I must return to the search. Practicing your marksmanship, are you? Maybe I'll have half a moment's peace to look for this part while you watch me back. Not again. Take care of that. Would you, Komoi? More midges? Oh, great. And this one too? How'd I hit that one? Man, this thing's big. Music can come back on. Nice shooting, Komoi. Now if only we could find his lordship's part. I might get back to my own training. In a game like this, the contrast isn't really going to have much effect, but I guess part of it is the HDR. But in a game like Monster Hunter World, I guess the contrast settings that I have on my recording become that much more apparent because that game goes crazy with the HDR, the brightness and the dark and all of that. And this game was developed like way long ago. Even with the graphics update, it doesn't really take use of all that. So I guess if this episode seems a bit darker than usual, I don't know, I'll have to consider if I want to still use those settings or not. It's neither here nor there. You've been working at those shots, haven't you, lass? I'd say you're good and ready to... Bloody hells, that's a big one. You're up, Komoi. Big ones are good, right? They're much easier to shoot than tiny bugs. That easy. It's like we have an elephant gun or something. Aye, nice form, lass. Tightly grouped shots. It was a single shot. Now was it just me eyes playing tricks? Or did someone... Pirate talk? Did someone other than guts drop out of that thing's belly? Looks like a bit of machinery. The boss would have a better idea than me. Go show that part you found to Stefanivian. Might be as he can make some use of it. Confound it. All this way and not to show for it, aside from your obvious improvements in marksmanship. Of course. What's that you have there? Magitech Gyroscope number 41. And this spilled out along with the creature's innards, you say? Extraordinary. By the Fjord, do you know what this is? You found the very component I was searching for. That's wonderful, me lordship. Our fortunes took a turn for the better the moment you walked through our workshop doors, Gomoy. Finding a rare magitech part in a beast's belly ain't fortune. That's bloody sorcery. Or so I'd think if I didn't see you shoot the damn thing with me own 2 eyes. Nice work there, by the way, Gomoy. I can already hear the whirring of my invention come to life. Come, we must return to the manufactory at once. I think I'll make Foundation a preferred location for teleportation, since return is on like a 10-minute or however long cooldown. 15? We'll replace Gridania, because I think I have the least reason to go there. The next event is going to be in Ul'dah, but I guess most events are in Gridania. Do they try to split them evenly between the 3 city-states? It's hard to say. Right, the sound. I can hear it from out here already. That damn thing. Didn't know you could hang out here in the rafters. How about that? Right there. Can we stand on that? No. That truly was a stroke of luck, Komoy. With that wretchedly rare gyroscope in hand, it will only be a matter of time until I have a working prototype. Instead of twiddling your thumbs until its completion, however, you shall have your hands full mastering a new skill. Rostenthal bade me pass on to you the particulars of Heat Blast. Train hard, my friend. This is the actual usage of the other thing we got earlier. I guess I didn't do it on screen. Our heat gauge builds up with every attack we do over there on the right, and when we get 50 we can use Hypercharge, which increases our single target damage by like 10 potency or something for every attack. So that's just a basic increase, but the real thing you want to use it for is what we just got, because you can only execute Heat Blast when you have this up. And the main thing about Heat Blast, other than having like the increased damage that applies to every single target attack, is 1. It goes fast. It has a 1.5 global cooldown or whatever, compared to the normal 2.5, which lets you get the full usage out of Hypercharge. Otherwise, if you just use the 2.5 cooldown ones, you're left with 1 stack of unused Hypercharge. So this is maximum efficiency with Heat Blast. But the main thing with Heat Blast, and there are other things too, is that it recharges your Ricochet and your whatever this thing is, the Gauss round. Forget the names. So that increases your DPS like double or multiple folds, whatever. On top of that, you can also weave in this thing, whatever it's called, the Wildfire. And this, you can increase the damage by landing up to 6 hits, but because of the 10-second duration, you can't get in 10 hits with a 2.5 second global cooldown. So you're pretty much required to use Heat Blast to get the maximum DPS out of this thing. Just enough to fit in. That's why these are all on one thing for me. Next quest. And here, I guess this is what he's working on, huh? I like it when the rank up quests for the jobs actually relate to what you unlock as like an action. Not all quests do this, and the further you get into the game, while they kind of do away with these quests that are geared specifically towards a single class, they all kind of blend together into one category, like tanks or melee DPS or whatever. So any upgrades that you get as leveling up just happen Well, when you level up, there's no real story behind them, which is unfortunate, but I guess we can enjoy this while it's here. Ah, Komoi. Splendid. You arrived at the very moment I completed my newest machinist marvel. We just walked out and walked back in. He works fast, is all. Well, within the very hour at least. See, like I said. 'Tis unfortunate that many Ishgardians cannot appreciate the practicality of my work. People such as my father, for instance. Speak of the devil. Is there naught that can be done for this dreadful odor? Stephanivian, my son, the days of shunning your nightly training have come to an end. Never should I have allowed you to set foot inside this workshop. Had I but known that the curiosity you displayed as a boy would develop into this all-consuming distraction. Is that all you came to say, father? I am well aware of your distaste for... Nay, Stephanivian, there is more. House Dismail has sounded a call to arms, and House Haillenarte is bound to answer. As you well know, however, our companies are light on lances. If we are to avoid dishonoring our name, every able soldier, mine own son included, must take up spear and sword to march into battle. I have not the disposition for charging into enemy ranks, father. I did not raise a coward. Consider your next words carefully, boy. As Manufactory Chief, I hold the authority to expel anyone from this workshop. On parchment, mayhap, there's only one chief we answer to. I understand that our ranks have grown thin. Thus is our house in dire need of support. Of the support my machinist will bring. Challenging the might of dragons with spear and sword is the work of seasoned heroes. Warriors possessed of unflagging stamina and robust physique. Equipped with a firearm, however, even the scrawniest commoner could engage those same scaled demons from afar. Think of it, father. If the masses were trained in the machinist profession, the casualties of Fang and Claw would be considerably diminished. Machinist companies would soon form the backbone of our defense, and, as the master of the manufactory, the accolades would belong to House Haillenarte. Train the masses? Foolish boy. No low-born army could ever replace a contingent of disciplined knights. It is time, my lord. Savara is expected to descend upon our defenses within the hour. Savara? You mean to engage that great brute with naught but our knights? What would you have me do? The dragon flies straight as an arrow for our very own Skyfire locks. Should we let them be destroyed, the price will be steep in both coin and honor. Father, you must allow me to deploy my machinists. Once you have witnessed them in battle, even you will be unable to deny their effectiveness. Do as you will, Stephanivian. As matters stand, I would not turn away a lame chocobo if it offered to defend our holdings. Be certain to assemble your forces at the locks ere Savara arrives. Oh, that's the end of the quest, huh? Is this like a two-part quest or something? Is the next one also level 40? Oh dear. I fear I have allowed my passions to impair my better judgment. Of all my budding machinists, only you have seen true combat. Really? All those guys that were just kind of backing you up in the cutscene, they haven't really fired their guns at anything, and I'm supposed to be the new guy here. 'Tis to you, then, that I would entrust the use of my prototype device. The Rook, as I have taken to calling it, is an auto-turret, a type of machinist weapon that fights on its own. Do you recall Rosenthal's explanation of the Aethero Transformer? That contraption at your waist will convert your body's aether into lightning-aspected energy, required to power the turret. You need simply to activate the weapon, and it will supplement your own attacks. Savara has played House Haillenarte for long years. Should you employ the Rook to good effect, Then we may rid ourselves of both a deadly enemy and my father's antiquated notions in one fell swoop. Okay, yeah, they just have you complete the quest so that you unlock the new skill for the rest of the quest, which is the second part of the same level 40 quest. They can't exactly give you an ability in the middle of the quest. Well, Kamoy, we are as ready as we can be. Or ready as ready can be. I'll accept our wayward instructor. Would you be so kind as to locate Rostensal and inform him of the urgency of our situation? I imagine he is ordering in Foundation somewhere, making his unhurried way to the workshop. This shall be the machinist's first engagement, and we need every finger on the trigger. See to your task, Kamoy. No, Kamoy knows how to hold this thing. You put one finger on the trigger. Who the heck is this guy? Oh, above? Didn't realize. Quite a detour. You killing this guy in the alley? No, Komoy. Look at this scrag I caught me creeping. Look at this scrag I caught me creeping. Again, the grammar here. This time on pirate talk, which is going to be even harder to discern. Look at this scrag I caught me creeping about near the workshop. Caught me creeping. Up to no bloody good, I reckoned. So as I sat him down for a friendly chat. A dragon attack? And the boss needs every hand on deck, does he? I'll be right there. Just as soon as I'm done wringing some answers from this ugly sod. You know where there's one rat, there's always a dozen more. Might be best if you took a quick look around yourself, and deal with any troublemakers before you head back. No need to murder anyone, mind. The noise from a slug shot ought to scare them off. Slug shot is which attack? Really? This one? But that's not comboed. Not that it matters for a quest step, but just feels weird to do a slug shot instead of one of the other attacks. Wait, they're all over the place. Huh. This isn't exactly near the workshop. I mean, relatively, with how much space you can explore. All the way down in the broom, huh? Just making our patrols around the streets of Ishgard. A cop on house Fort Tomp's payroll. All these houses, I was getting them mixed up. Dismail, Haillenarte, it's Fort Tomp's the ones we work for. And I guess Haillenarte. And Haillenarte is now working for House Dismail, so I guess we're working for all the houses now, except Durandare. God damn it. You ain't going nowhere. You shot him in the kneecap. You ain't see the last of me. Is that what someone says after getting shot in the kneecap? Me thanks. The name's Celesto, one of your fellow machinists. If you didn't know. I think I talked to you. Maybe? in that other episode? I don't know. I was making preparations for our fight with Savara when that thug ambushed me. Don't bother chasing him. I doubt he knows more than what he was paid to do. But he did make it damn clear that someone out there has a grudge against our workshop. Anyway, gotta get back to my duties. We ain't never fought in a proper battle, let alone against a monster like Savara. And we'll need all the advantages we can get. Oh right, the ambient noise. Would have heard the doors open there. Keep looking, Tataru. What is this? Shifty looking drug deal going on? We'll put a stop to that. Kneecap him. How uncouth. But I suppose I should expect not less from one of Rostenthal's underlings. He learned it from the vicious brute himself. Does he like to kneecap people too? Wouldn't mind if that was one of the moves we could learn. Heed my words. The Skysteel Manufactory plays haven to villains. For the safety of Ishgard citizens, the manufactory must needs be shut down. Their Rogadin instructor poses as the former Commodore of the Knights of the Barracuda. This is a lie. In truth, he is a bloodthirsty pirate who murdered his entire crew. You believe this guy? Alright, everyone disperse. Nothing to see here. Keeping the peace. There is actually an Inquisition in Ishgard, and they do wear blue, so I guess it's kind of fitting that I'm wearing these colors. Sort of, even though the Knights are, well, not blue, not part of the Inquisition technically. Where's this guy? On the bridge? Or just like around the corner? Just one nick of flame ought to do it. Oh yeah? I say just one bullet to the knee ought to do it. Oh, what in the seven hells? You could have taken off a knee. You're Rostenthal's new pup, aren't you? If it's trouble you're looking for, then look no further than that backstabbing Lominson cur. Aren't you cold? Damn it. I forgot to turn down the noise. Let's just get through this quickly. Is everything alright? Rostenthal tells me there are villains afoot, making trouble for the workshop. Intimidating my machinists, were they? Setting fires and spreading rumors. Joy too has overheard vile slander intended to defame our master of marksmanship. It took every care to choose the right employee, me lordship. We could do a lot worse than the former Commodore of Limsa Barracudas. And now half of Ishgard thinks he's lying. That he's a convict of terrible crimes. Does someone seek to harm the manufactory's standing with these attacks upon our instructor's character? I'm sorry, Rostenthal. Your association with the machinists has brought you naught but ridicule and insult. Don't blame yourself, boss. After all, more than half that stuff's probably true. I was a Commodore of the Kudos. Right up until I got kicked out on me arse for making a bloody mess of things. That's why you found me in Camp Overlook. I was there to visit one of me old underlings. Course he'd rather take another axe to the face before he'd talk to me. Your mistakes cost me more than others. And there's no bastard in Nocia as to call me friend. Your mysterious rival must have learned of me tarnished past, because they offered a fortune for me to accept the job as your master of marksmanship. I suppose they thought the workshop would be ruined once the truth behind me charm and reputation became common knowledge. But as it turns out, I don't take kindly to being some faceless bastard's puppet. So I took their coin, and yours, and made for the hills. I had no intention of fulfilling me contract. Not until your adventurer here. One thing got me fired up about teaching in truths. That said, there ain't naught in me agreement that says I gotta fight bleeding dragons. And me students will give a better show without me there growling over their shoulders any road. Though his support will be missed, Wolfenthal is mayhap correct in his assumption. Our demonstration will be all the more impressive for his absence. Let us check our weapons one last time, and assemble at Skyfire Boss. Alright. Next time we have a cutscene in that room, we'll definitely remember. Get rid of the noise. Every time I get a new ability, even though it's already on my hotbar. Oh, and I have the battery gauge now too. That charges up a bit slower than the heat gauge, but kind of the same thing. Just keep on attacking to charge it, and throughout the rook, it's actually a little bit easier to use than the heat stuff. Less thinking you have to do with timing. And at least this part of the quest is still in Corthus, even though it's the part of Corthus that is from A Realm Reborn. Just felt like going all the way to Lenosia with a bit of a weird detour, but obviously it's to time the pirates, so it makes sense. It's just still just kind of a mixed bag. Allow me to brief you on our defensive strategy ere the dragon and its minions arrive. Atop each of the 3 locks, we have placed a dragon-slaying cannon. Our task as machinists shall be to defend the cannons from Svara's lesser kin. You will find a lock in the northeast. That's a lock, huh? Where I'm from, we call those cannons. A lock to the northwest. And a lock to the south. I will track the concentrations of our enemy and direct you to the cannon most in need of our protection. This is fun. It's like an actual strategy as a soldier with a gun or whatever. I love it when quests do this little thing, where you don't actually just fight the thing in front of you. I mean, sure, it increases your chance of failure and maybe frustration, but it's always nice to see when the quest design tries to go the extra mile, especially when it's relevant to your class. The machinist is like a big brain class, I guess, even though I don't exactly think of Komori as that. Hark, the dragons are come. Everyone to your positions. I guess I think of her as not to the northwest, you say? Oh no, southern. I think of Komori as not book smart or whatever, but maybe smart enough to work a machine or something. Why not? If it's a weapon that can kill things, then sure, she can figure it out. Unstoppable Wyvern. We stopped it. I guess the cannon did it. Big Bertha, huh? It's Definivian tell us where to go. Was there another one? We just waiting here, or? Cannons are actually doing work on the rank and file. Northeast then. That's west. Now I forget what's best to actually do. For maximum DPS on the Rook or whatever. Do I want to build it up to 100 or is it okay to use as soon as I got 50? Oh, that one's taking damage. Defend the cannons as needed. You got it, boss. Come Rook auto turret. Deploy. Where is this thing? Do your attacks. It's not very showy. There's Savara. Let's protect the south cannon first. Actually, all the cannons seem fine now, and they're attacking. If you have low ping or something, doing this upkeep with the Heat Blast and then Ricochet or Gauss Cannon combo, it starts to clip, meaning you don't get the full DPS. It pauses like there, like I just tried to simulate right there. What I'm trying to say is you want to keep your global cooldowns rolling. And sometimes based on your connection it can't really happen. But we won, it doesn't matter. I'm kind of over leveled, like I said, level 50. Plus all of this gear that I got for my tomestones. Yeah, since this is on a 1.5 second cooldown, and this just perfectly weaves in with the remaining 1 second out of the whatever cooldown, or no, rather, this Heat Blast is on a 1.5 second cooldown, and after you press it, there's only just enough time to weave in one action here. And if that action takes too long because of ping, the 1.5 second cooldown will be over. So before you can press it, it might be like 1.6 or 1.7 seconds, and it'll just kind of hang up there. Screwing up your timing immensely, especially because you have to press this like 5 times to combo with Wildfire and everything like that. I actually kind of had a problem with that on my main character, but I think my connection is a bit better than it was a little while ago, or maybe not, just I haven't actually been playing online, have I? Or rather, with other players, so maybe the ping doesn't really matter when you're in a solo mission or something. Anyway. Well, Father, do you see now how we might prevail against dragons without risking the lives of our soldiers? It was a most impressive display. I must admit, your commoners acquitted themselves admirably. I thought I heard the terrible din of cannons being fired. And what do I hasten out here to find but the high-born Haillenartes, frolicking in the snow with their low-born lackeys? After providing you with this opportunity to improve the ailing reputation of your noble house, does the consideration of House Dismail not merit a formal reply. Lord Teetlegrinch, my apologies. The foe was upon us ere we could put a quill to parchment. Ah yes, I imagine you were full occupied with scraping together a serviceable company of soldiers. If only your dear son was as ardent with his knightly training as he is with his idle tinkering. Kneecap him. There is not idle in my work. You would not speak such insults had you seen my machinist in action. So, such temper. It would seem your association with commoners has eroded your manners, as well as your martial skills. If you are so confident in these machinists of yours, mayhap you should enter them in the upcoming tourney. Mayhap I shall. Upon my oath, we will turn Ishgar's tradition-bound combat upon its ear. This guy is easily convinced. Aha! The Holy Sea's adjudicators will be most impressed when your low-bone rabble is chopped to pieces by the tested blades of noble champions. My son, what have you done? The tourney is a stage upon which is flaunted. The tourney is a stage upon which is flaunted the might and mettle of the four great houses. Only the finest knights are chosen to participate. Having trouble with English today. Maybe I should read ahead a little bit before I try to speak. Can't do that every time though. Even with the aid of your machinists, our battered ranks stand little chance of victory. Must we now parade our shame before the highest echelons of the Holy See? Is it echelons or echelons? I think it's echelons. Do not be so swift to dismiss our chances, father. I give you my word. House Haillenarte will leave the contest with its pride intact. And furthermore, should we win, I will have your word that you shall yield the running of the manufactory to me. Very well, my stubborn boy. And whether you win or no, you be sure to give House Dismail a darn good pummeling. I shall see it done, father. We will not disappoint you. Always another thing with you, Stephnithian. We're supposed to be returning to work. With House... I'm already forgetting their name because I've been saying House Haillenarte so long. We work for House for Toms. We're supposed to be working for them, and you keep on distracting us. Well, fine. We'll finish this one last thing for you. You might not have seen me, but I was watching all the same. Them dragons didn't know what hit them. I never thought I'd see the day the Count himself would give us his blessing. Komoy, by virtue of your undeniable expertise, my father has at last recognized the value of machinistry. But we cannot stop at but one hard-headed knight. This tourney will be our opportunity to demonstrate to all and sundry the potential of our profession. Me lordship, if I may. It seems that Lord Teetlegrinch has a dislike for commoners such as me. If me presence will cause you more trouble, then maybe I should quit the manufactory. Pay no mind to that preening foplas. He's all piss and wind. I ever as Teetlegrinch sought to needle me in such a manner. 'Tis not you, my dear, that he despises. 'Tis the mingling of highborn and lowborn. House Dismail is a powerful army, or powerful family, and their talent for the building of fortifications has brought them vast wealth and influence. Staunch allies of House Durandare, the Dismails have also been party to a number of significant victories. Thus do they stand at the peak of Ishgardian society, looking down their noses at any who do not share their noble pedigree. So it's interesting to kind of put together these four houses in terms of hierarchy. Oh, was that? If I advance here, does that? There we go. It was a pretty long one. So Dismail builds fortifications and their allies to Durandare. He's saying Dismail stands at the peak, but does Durandare stand above them? Because they're like the lackeys of Durandare? Is that what it is? And where does Fort Tom's fit into all of this? Are they above or below any of these? Fort Tom's just seems like, well, because they're part of the main quest, like they're the biggest deal, but maybe they're just kind of middling, somewhere equivalent with Dismail or Durandare. If we just take him for what he's saying at face value, that they're at the peak of Ishgardian society, then maybe Dismail is at the very top, and Haillenarte, the guys that just run the forgery or whatever, are at the very bottom. A true underdog story. I kind of appreciate that. From guns to, or whatever, from, what's the phrase? Zero to hero? It was more like an underdog story, from something to something. I don't know what I'm trying to think of. It doesn't matter. Did I read that? If you truly wish to please me, then I would have you shine your brightest in the tourney and wipe that arrogant smirk from his face. Shall we be on our way? I should probably let them finish talking before I start. Waxing theoretical, or not theoretical. Waxing curious? Whatever. Waxing curious about the lore. I remembered. I must confess my misgivings to you, Komoy. When queried as to our chances at victory, my prospectometer returned an unfavorable result. He always mentions this. He mentioned it when he first met us, like, it was pointing towards us as a great prospect. What exactly is this prospectometer? Is it a real thing, or is he just being fancy with his words or something? Because if it's real, what's the science behind this prospectometer? We triumphed over dragons, 'tis true, but such a battle has not prepared us to face coordinated parties of season knights. My machinists are simply not ready. 'Tis fortunate, then, that the tourney is yet some days away. Let us keep such disheartening talk from our colleagues, and continue to train them, and ourselves, for the contest ahead. And the next quest will be the start of the tournament arc, or whatever. We'll save that for next time, because I barely have any time to do a full job quest, even if it's just the start of the tourney quest or whatever. Guess I could end it in the middle of that quest, but figured I'd just do this one last quest that's available here, and that'll take out all the orange quests or whatever here in the bottom level. Just doing our rounds as a corrupt cop. Taking from the payroll of House Haillenarte and also House Fortom's. And I guess by extension from that last battle, House Dismail. Is that who we were aiding? Kind of. And now we're gonna fight them? Whatever. We're a mercenary. slash corrupt cop slash magical warrior of light. Excuse me, miss. Do you have any spare wood for a fire? A small bundle or even a few twigs would do? Of course not. As if a bundle of sticks could warm the hands of so many. Well, if you asked us not a few episodes ago, she could have cast fire your way. But not anymore. I guess she could, I don't know, try to shoot some kindling or something to light a fire with the sparks. You do actually unlock a flamethrower with this class later on, but we don't have that yet. The dragons have left Foundation in shambles. Countless men and women are without shelter, the bitter chill of death breathing down their necks. I fear some may not even live through the night. It's actually pretty timely that I'm trying to do these quests right now just to fill in time, because these all have to do with the most recent attack for one, and also if you wait too long, the whole war with the dragons, it feels like it becomes something that doesn't really make sense to revisit, as like, outside of the expansion. I implore you, please speak with Heillenarte at the congregation. Did I say that right? Heillenarte? Tell him we must have firewood for the citizens here in the room. I did actually look up. Broom has nothing to do with smoke. For some reason I thought it had something to do with smoke, not sure why. Just seemed like that kind of word to me. It is indeed just referring to the weather phenomenon, which is just fog, basically, heavy fog. So yeah, they call it the broom because the fog rose in low to the ground, covering the foundation. First time in here, I guess. Yes, is there aught I can help you with? Wood. I see. I am hardly blind to the plight of my people, but firewood is something of a commodity these days. There's so much wood around, just like pull up some floorboards or something, I don't know. Give me one of those boxes. I cannot hand it out as freely as I might otherwise. However, I may have a solution. During the most recent Dravanian assault, a number of buildings were destroyed. I thought it a grave misfortune, but there may yet be a silver lining. The timber we've collected from those buildings is unfit for reconstruction. You may take as much as you like to the room. You could have led with that. The destruction of those buildings is a travesty beyond measure, but perhaps we can yet make something out of a bad situation. Take as much of the wood to the room as you feel is necessary. Do we have any other attacks that could light a fire? Of course we do. We have literally an attack called Wildfire. And actually, what is this attack? Is it like a makeshift bomb or something? Just based on the icon, that's what it looks like. We'll use this to light your fire with the wood we just got. That's what I get for trying to talk to him at eye level, or at least not below him. Did Heillenarte consent to aid us? Was there any wood to spare? My word, this is... I don't know what to say. How did he amass such quantities? No matter. Go and distribute this to the people down below. We must do what we can before this cold claims any more lives. That's quite a few people. And that was quite a bit of damage. I can bear this cold no longer. Perhaps I should. Perhaps you should have some wood. You could burn that barrel. What? The firewood? Bless you, miss. Bless you. The room that you can explore is pretty much just this one little dip in the corner. It's just to give you a peek of what the wider room is, but feels like just a really tiny segment of what's supposed to be really large. I mean, obviously that's what it is, but just overly tiny is all I'm saying. Bah, what I wouldn't give for a bit of kindling. What would you give? For me? Truly? So it's true what they say about asking and receiving. Thank you. Damn. I guess he did say he wouldn't give. It's so cold. I cannot feel my hands anymore. Feel this wood. That... whatever. Wood for a fire. Oh, thank you, miss. Thank you. Yes, wood for a fire, nothing else. Don't take it any other way. Search for others. Oh, over there. Thought we were just reporting back to that other guy. Up above, or... I guess so. Or not. I think this guy is going to be lifting this rock forever. I may have heard about this guy. This poor guy. Oh, you can't jump over that? Invisible wall. There you are. It's cold. So very cold. Firewood? Oh, Haillenarte be praised. My, that's quite a load of timber there. Surely you don't mean to distribute that all by yourself? Why not let me handle that for you? It's the least I can do to repay your kindness. Leave it to me. I know these streets like the back of my hand. Folks will be warning. One more try. Folks will be warming themselves all along the streets in no time flat. Thanks again, miss. We'll be seeing you. That quest is actually a bit longer than I thought it would be. You know, some people are trying to warm themselves, and here you are, making yourselves colder. How very tone-deaf of you. I probably could have finished that one introduction to the 20 quest. But maybe it's better this way, even if I go a little bit over on time. We'll keep all the 20 quest stuff in one episode, and yeah. You do our patron saints proud. Now then, let us take what remains somewhere safe. What? A young Ellison girl offered to ration out the rest for you? I'm afraid to say you have been duped. I had a feeling. She is a thief, and a rather well-known, and rather well-known here in the Broom. She bears no ill intentions, but this is a fair deal more serious than her usual antics. These are hard times, and I understand how destitution drives one to desperation. But we cannot afford to tolerate her selfish actions. Not now. I pray no one shall want for warmth tonight, but we must recover the firewood, and soon. Aye, the days and nights of Ishgard grow colder, but the weather is not to blame. The bite of cold can be cruel at times, but the feeling of hopelessness and despair chills our people to the core. Good luck with that wood. Looks like there's no part B to that quest to get back the wood you so foolishly handed out. Either way, it's not our problem. The episode is over. I was going to find a chair to sit at, but there are no chairs in this bar. How very strange. Just sit down on the table. I think the tiny flame from this little candle should be enough to warm up a tiny Lalafel's body. Now would be a good time to take a break.